All right, bit of a tech talk about the Milwaukee 8 top-end tick noise that you can hear. I'll go through it and give you guys an understanding on why these things sound and do what they do. Now, on our rocker arm, we've typically got a push rod sitting up under here, which comes from your cam area. Now, what we've got is a rocker arm that is fixed. There's no adjusting on these rocker arms whatsoever. So anyone that's into dirt bikes, you think about your old DRs, XRs, TTs, anything that's sort of, I guess, around pre-2000-ish, we typically can allow a lash set on these. Now, because these are fixed, we might have this inside rocker arm touching on the valve stem end itself when we've got our bleed down, everything's happening and we're operational. But on the other side, we might be able to get a 6/1000 feeler gauge in and there's a gap there. So the noise you hear is basically an interface touch, but yet the other one isn't. So we've got a clearance allowance until that rocker arm wants to touch that valve end. So we've got to think, okay, we've got our one touching, one not, but then as we follow through on rock, we've got to have that clearance set to come down and obviously reach a 0 increment. So we've got these indifferences all the time where, yes, we've got a valve end touching on the rocker, the other one not, but as we're rotating over, that clearance then comes together, it touches, and that's where we're finding our sound. So we don't have both set at a lash set of what, say it was to be 0 anyway, 1 thou. But indifference of between here and here, we are going to have a racketeer when even if we have it around the other way, say our other side is at 0, this side has a 6 thou indifference, we've got that little minute and it clips on, comes down and interfaces on face to face. We've got that little sound coming in where it wants to obviously rock and touch and then create our up and down motion through the camshaft turnover and everything else. So I hope that makes sense. Obviously with the intake side and the exhaust side, if we've got an indifference of X amount of thou, we're going to have these noise racketeers happening front and rear cylinder. So between whatever ones are indifferent with I'm trying to simplify this in my bloody head to talk about it, but if you have these indifferences where they've got to have a gap to touch and then get operational, these make racketeer mechanical sound. So I hope that makes sense. All of them are set somewhat indifferent because the way obviously the valve is machined and seating in the cylinder head to its seat. To get these right, there is obviously a fair bit of machine work and trial and error testing, getting these things right. However, if they were to be like an old 4-stroke, trail bike, we could go through and lash set these individually to correction to get them all to work in synchronicity of that as an adjustment. Whereas with these, they're fixed. We can't really help the indifference we've got in different distance gauging between the rocker arm and then obviously the end of the valve itself. So there you go, guys. That's why these things sound like a bit of a soul machine when they're going. It's all indifferences, front and rear cylinder, that create that noise, and it's the mechanical sound of what it is due to indifferences of lash set on these.